All right, so I want you to look right here. See this? It's a hidden headlight relay for 70 to 72 Mopar. They are interchangeable. I paid $25 for this back in 2009. You know what the same part is now? Well, up to $300 if you can find one. And that's the kind of what the whole video is about. Something is happening to our hobby right now, and I want you all to know about it. So if you haven't seen my video from a few weeks ago on the First Brand's bankruptcy, a lot of you have, but it kind of blew up. Go check it out. I'll link it up below. But I want to go a little deeper today, because that bankruptcy, that was a symptom, not the disease. Back in 2009, 2010, you could find a decent Mopar project for $500, maybe $1,000. Nothing pretty, but something with good bones, something you can start with, something you can work with. Now, you're lucky to find something drivable under $5,000. And if it's got a Hemi or a 440, forget it. And it's not just the car prices. I went to order a set of front brake drums for a 1966 Toronado last month. You know what the lead time was? Unavailable! And that was a part that 3 years ago, I can get in less than 2 weeks, if not the same day. So then we also have labor costs. Even if you do things yourself, like most of us do, you're still paying more for consumables, shop supplies, the raw materials that go into proper restoration. Everything costs more. And now here's the thing. Some of the aftermarket suppliers we depend on for decades are struggling also. So yeah, something is changing. But here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to panic. This isn't about panic. And I definitely don't want you to sell your Mopar. Stay with me, because I actually have some real ideas. Now look, I want to be straight with you about who this really affects, because not everybody in this hobby is in the same boat. If you have a very rare car, like a numbers matching 446 pack Charger, you're probably fine, because the top tier stuff is doing okay, if you own it already, because the values of that can justify the cost of restoring a genuine car. Like, see this example here. But that's not most of us. Most of us, the average car guy, working out of the garage on weekends, maybe trying to keep a decent driver on the road, maybe with a 360, 340, 318, hey, a slant. Something we actually use, not something we trailer to shows. And that is the group that is getting squeezed right now. Because here's what's happening in the background. Parts market is getting thinner. Some of the specialty suppliers we relied on, the guys who've been making B-body and E-body parts, for the last 30 years, some of them aren't being replaced. When they retire, nobody's stepping in because the market's too small. The tooling costs too much. The margins aren't there. And then on top of that, you got the NLA problem. They're no longer available. That's the tag you see when a part is just gone, discontinued. And once it's NLA from the dealer network or the aftermarket, finding it means looking through eBay, swap meets, or whatever some guy has sitting in a barn. And that stuff, you know how fast that stuff's going up in price. My relay example is a good one. So the squeeze is real. I think a lot of guys are starting to actually feel it. I had a buddy a few months ago that had to order a ignition lock cylinder for his 69 Roadrunner, one of the most common muscle cars out there. And it took 6 weeks for him to get this ignition cylinder. And not only that, it was over $100. Now, this is a part that was commonly found at parts stores and definitely can be easily found cheaply at a swap meet. Really quick, if you're getting something out of this, hit that like button. It generally helps me get in front of more Mopar guys who need to hear this. And if you haven't subscribed, I do one of these every week. We're going to keep talking about the stuff that actually affects you, your build, and your budget. Okay, so here's why I want to push back the doom and gloom just a little bit. I don't think the hobby is dying. I think it's changing, evolving. And here's what I mean. And I want to be specific. Number one, the salvage yard situation. This is actually a real opportunity right now because there are a lot of guys getting out of the hobby. And because these guys are parting out their cars, salvage yards, online classifieds, hey, Facebook Marketplace, I've seen stuff surface that I haven't seen in years. If you know what you're looking for and you're patient, there are deals out there right now, but that window will not be open forever. Number two, something I say all the time, 3D printing. I know. Don't roll your eyes at this. Structural is not here, but it's coming. But right now, I'm talking clips, dash knobs, emblems, bezels, little stuff that's no longer available or cost an arm or a leg. There are guys in this community right now scanning originals and printing replacements that you could barely tell apart from the factory. That is real and is happening right now. This is 3D printed, and it's actually for my '89 BMW. These are no longer available. The door handle surround, 3D printed, can't tell the difference. Number three, the community itself, and that's the one that actually gives me some hope. The Mopar community online is more active than it's been in years. Guys are sharing parts, sharing pictures, sharing information, doing group buys or reproduction items, rarely. The community is one of the best resources right now, and I think it's underused. And number four, be strategic about what you're going to restore, especially if you're starting with a fresh project. Choose a car that still has a lot of, support. B bodies, A bodies, E bodies, still decent production coverage. But if you think about diving to something really obscure, do your homework first. Make sure the parts that exist before you commit, because the hobby isn't dying, but the days of buying whatever looks cool and figuring out how to fix it, those days are getting shorter. And look, every generation that's been in the old car hobby has gone through this. Hey, the guys in the 80s, they had doom and gloom when lead got removed from gasoline. They thought it was just going to kill everything, but it didn't happen. They adapted. We always have. That's what car guys do. I hate videos that give you all diagnostics but no prescription. So let me get specific. As I say that. If you're on an active project right now, finish it. Finish it as fast as you can. Don't wait. Every month you wait, there is a part that gets harder to find and more expensive. Get the car drivable first. Then do the cosmetics. I'm going through this with that Oldsmobile. If you're looking for a project car, look for one that runs and drives, even if it's rough, because a running and driving Mopar right now is worth its weight in gold. You can fix the body. You can't fix the parts situation if it doesn't exist anymore. If you're trying to control cost, get connected. Go on forums. Go on Facebook groups. Regional swap meets. There's where the deals still happen. You can find stuff at a swap meet that is pennies on the dollar that would be a fortune online. Now, don't count out NOS, New Old Stock. Those guys there are still guys out there with warehouses full of genuine Mopar parts from the 60s and 70s. It takes some hunting, but it will be there. The hobby isn't going away. It's going to require a bit more creativity. And honestly, that's always kind of what the average car guy does best. All right, I want to hear from you. Is the hobby dying or is it changing? Drop it in the comments below. I generally read these and tell me your worst. I can't find the part story because we all have been there. And sadly, misery does love company. And if you found this useful, please share it. There are guys out there that are dealing with this exact situation right now who need to hear it. Hit subscribe if you want to keep on, following what I'm doing here. And I'll see you in the next one. That really stuck with me.